Again, this is James Caperton at the NASTC Annual Conference. I'm joined by Lee Vento of Rural Logistics. Lee, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Lee, so you guys are Rural Logistics. Y'all are based in
Buffalo, headquartered in Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo, New York, and you guys are a brokerage. Y'all are the only two-time NASTC Best Broker of the Year. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, we're honored. 2018 and 2024.
Yeah.
We're excited about it and love our partnership with NASTC.
Yeah. So tell me more about your relationship with NASTC. How long have you guys been a NASTC Best Broker?
It's been about 10 years now.
Okay.
I've been with the company for 13.
Okay.
Got involved initially, obviously, after a couple of years of me being in the company because I was familiar with the organization.
Okay.
So I encouraged the company to get involved.
Yeah.
And it's just escalated from there. It's
Yeah.
been fantastic. A great partnership.
Yeah, great. So what do you see as the biggest obstacle that rural logistics faces on a day-to-day basis that you guys try to accomplish through your relationship with NASTC?
Yeah, well, that's the biggest challenge is finding good quality carriers, good quality drivers.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, there's certainly plenty of ways to find drivers, but what we like is the ease of our relationship.
Sure.
Right. And we know the vetting process or the qualification process for NASTC and the programs that you run.
Yeah.
That's very advantageous for us. So number one, the accessibility to carriers and drivers is important to us for NASTC, and then understanding or knowing what NASTC does for the carriers, the trucking companies, and the drivers with quality of work.
Sure.
Right. And the communication and running the business and that educational stuff. I believe with NASTC really brings the small trucking companies to a higher level.
Sure.
And that's what we're looking for.
So, you know, we've been going through the last 3 years, what do they call it, the Great American Freight Recession. I think they've coined the term. It's been really hard, specifically on the smaller trucking companies out there. And I think that one of the big misperceptions from trucking companies is that all of brokered loads are on a variety of load boards, and y'all are just looking for the cheapest truck to haul that freight. And that's actually not the case. Is that correct?
Yeah, I can understand that perception, and I would imagine to say there probably are some brokers that do that. That's not what we do, and not even remotely close, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's important to us to build the relationship, build the partnership, to collaborate together. Partnership means win-win for both parties.
Sure.
Right. So it's really important for us to kind of work with the carriers. Sometimes things work out, sometimes things don't work out, but we keep on trying. But the important thing is this relationship that we have with the drivers and with the trucking companies.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go. Well, you said something interesting to me the other day that I would like you to touch on. What percentage of your freight never touches a load board?
Yeah. We work really, really hard to minimize that every single day of every single week.
Yeah.
I would say, you know, ballpark estimate 20 to 25% of our freight ends up being there out of necessity, and it's unfortunate for us, right? It's a piece of our business, but what we like to minimize the piece of our business.
Sure.
And in order to do that is to develop, again, I keep saying partnerships, but that is the key.
Sure.
The more partnerships we develop, the more trucking companies and carriers that we understand their business model and what their needs are, and we try to support them, the less we'll need the load boards for.
So, not a mathematician, but I think that means that 75 to 80% of the loads that you guys get are given to carriers that you work with and have developed these relationships over time.
Absolutely correct.
And so it stands to you know, reason that's probably your better stuff, is that it never it's your last resort for it to hit the load board.
Yeah. We fortunately have a customer base which provides us a lot of high density lanes, if you will. So I've got a particular lane that we've had for 3 years, and for 3 years we get 20 to 30 loads every single week. So our goal is to partner with carriers who need those lanes, those loads, and what I would call get them on autopilot, right?
Sure.
And we're just keeping this machine is moving very quickly and very rapidly and very seamlessly without a lot of work, because we understand each other's needs and we're filling those needs for each other.
So I know NASTC Software announced a really exciting new service that they're providing NASTC Software customers, and that's the NASTC Freight Exchange, or the NASTC Freight Exchange. You guys are the kind of the pilot brokerage that they are working with to kind of offer that stuff. Can you elaborate on how that should work?
Yeah, well, and I want to say first that would have never been possible if it wasn't for NASTC, right? I kind of look at it as the next phase of our partnership, our relationship is getting onto this side of that business, the technology side, if you will. It's great for us because, again, one of our challenges are finding good, reliable carriers, and this is allowing us to connect much easier with NASTC members because they're using the software.
Sure. So the 75 or 80% of the loads that you guys get that don't go on the load boards are going on to that freight exchange.
Absolutely.
So if they're using Mystic software through NASTC, they're able to access that kind of that exclusive, a little bit, maybe better freight than what. And right now, any freight that they can find is really a premium, so that really provides a real value to NASTC members.
Yeah, we kind of look at it as a first look.
Yeah.
So NASTC members, in theory, can get a first look at our freight because once it hits our system internally, it is going into the Mystic platform.
Yeah.
So it could be a month out before it picks up,
Sure.
but to have that visibility. Most of the stuff that would end up hitting as a last resort on the load boards are short lead stuff, so it might be same day, next day.
Sure.
Whereas I think the bonus and the benefit of this Mystic collaboration is that carriers are wanting to plan in advance, plan that driver out.
Sure.
And need that visibility of what's coming down the pipeline, and this Mystic collaboration will do that.
So you spoke on the vetting process that Rural Logistics has their own vetting process for carriers, what you consider to be a good carrier and why. You consider it a pretty huge bonus, would you say? Is that a fair statement? If two carriers were to call you and one is a NASTC member and one is not, would you say it's a fair statement to say you prioritize that NASTC member?
100%. Yep. We understand kind of the educational programs. We understand the relationships that carriers, small trucking companies have with NASTC, and that's important to us.
Yeah.
And also too, because we know NASTC, we understand your core values. We understand what you're trying to do out there in the marketplace for small carriers, and we respect that.
Sure.
And we want to partner. We want partners like that.
So if you're talking to a carrier that's a rural logistics carrier that hauls freight for you guys on a daily basis, and they're on the fence about whether to be a NASTC member or not, what would you say to that carrier? Say, hey, this is the real value for you to be a NASTC member. What would be your pitch to them?
And it's not in theory. I actually have these conversations, and I try to coach and teach my team to have these conversations as well. Obviously, I'm most familiar with it, but I'm trying to educate the team as well.
Sure.
But I think the first thing out of the gate, which I think is the simplest to communicate, is the fuel program and the fuel discounts. I think that's very valuable to, in a sense, get people interested or understanding what's the first thing out of the gate to learn and understand about NASTC. So that's kind of the introduction that I would give, and then the other piece of this thing is just the network, the collaboration within your organization, at least from what I see, as well as the educational piece of it, and some of the other components of insurance and things of that nature, the technology. That there's just a full breadth of service offerings that you're able to offer these small trucking companies who are trying to make it work in a really tough world.
Sure, absolutely. Now, do you guys attend a lot of conferences like this?
Yeah, similar. I think there's a few. I think the main one is TIA, Transportation Intermediaries Association,
sure,
who we're a member of. But there's some other things, the Food Shippers Association,
okay,
JOC, which was just in Chicago. But this, I will say, this is the one that we always come to. We're going to continue to come to. It is kind of one of the highlights of the year.
So, what about the NASTC annual conference to you is special from the other conferences and things that you attend?
Some of these, I think what's important is there's a lot of familiar faces.
Yeah.
And carriers, drivers, they want to come back and they want to see us, and we want to see them.
Yeah.
It's our opportunity to shake hands and have some laughs and how things been the last year. It's really, I would call it just the family component of it. David mentioned that yesterday when he was speaking, is that it feels like a large family, and you're seeing family members that you haven't seen in a while.
Sure.
Yeah, and you connect.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, we're really excited about the partnership, especially with the Mystic Freight Exchange, and we're really excited to have you guys as a continued partner.
Yeah, we love it and love NASTC.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
it.
Yeah.